Hello, this is Kirk from Living the Field LLC. I'd like to welcome you to our online learning academy, where today we're going to discuss wintergreen, nature's aspirin. Plants can have multiple common names. All too often, the same common name is used for multiple plants. As you might imagine, this can become rather confusing. One of these plants is an edible and medicinal powerhouse. The other is a starchy banana-like fruit used in Caribbean cooking. Unfortunately, both are called plantain. You can see how it might be important to have the correct plant. To eliminate any confusion, we use botanical names. They're always in Latin, not just because using them makes us sound highly intelligent, but also because Latin is a dead language, and as such it will not evolve. The botanical name of wintergreen is Gaultheria procumbens. Now, these are a couple of pictures of wintergreen. You can see the picture on the left is in flower. The picture on the right has berries. Common names are eastern teaberry, checkerberry, boxberry, wintergreen. It is native to the eastern United States, more so toward the northeast and into Canada. It's a member of the Ericaceae, or heath or heather family. It is a perennial woody plant, meaning that it lives for multiple years. It's 3 to 5 inches tall. The leaves are ovate, meaning that they're oval shaped. They're evergreen. The plant retains its leaves all winter long, and the plants and berries smell like wintergreen when crushed, and they taste like wintergreen when chewed. The plant comes from a spreading root system. The plant will send out runners, and then other plants will grow from those runners. It allows this plant to carpet a whole area. The plant flowers in spring, and as you saw in one of the first pictures, the white bell-shaped flowers are small. They hang down below the leaves. The berries are kind of dry, a little mealy. They're 6 to 9 millimeters in diameter, about the size of a blueberry. They're just not as juicy as a blueberry. They do, however, taste quite good. Wintergreen is one of my favorite plants. This may be due to the fact that it was the first edible and medicinal plant I learned about over 45 years ago. You can go into the forest in the winter, brush away the snow, and you'll find this wonderful little plant waiting for you. Matter of fact, the berries actually taste better in the winter or in the spring after they've overwintered, because they absorb the moisture from the snow and it makes them less mealy. Either way, they're just absolutely delicious. The plant has a long history of use. Native Indians used it, and when the colonists dressed up like Indians and dumped the tea into the harbor, they turned to wintergreen as a substitute. As they began drinking the tea, they noticed that the plant or the tea relieved aches and pains. The plant contains methylsalicylate, which was the forerunner of modern-day aspirin. The levels of methylsalicylate are constant across the plant. So if you take a plant from one area and a plant from another, they're going to have the same aspiritic effect for you. A tea or tincture of wintergreen leaves works wonderfully to remove pain and reduce fever. I believe you'd be hard-pressed to find a better tasting tea than wintergreen with a touch of honey. I'm not as young as I used to be, and after a long day in the forest, there's nothing better than sitting down with a warm, delicious cup of wintergreen tea. Not only is it a great way to relax in front of a fire, but it soothes away the aches and pains of a long day. This plant grows in rich, acidic soils of pine and hardwood forests. Now, the part that you use are the leaves and the fruit. They can be eaten. You can put them in salads. You can even, cook them up to make them a little bit more soft, because this leaf is pretty thick and leathery. Now, this is for the attorneys out there. I'll read it verbatim. The information of the following slides are meant for informational purposes only. They are not meant to diagnose or treat any illness or injury. Always consult with a physician or other qualified medical care provider concerning the diagnosis and treatment of any illness or injury. I want to be right up front and say I am not a doctor and I do not play one on the internet. All of the information that I'm giving to you are just things that I've noticed from my experience or I've heard about from other people. The plant was once used as a source of wintergreen oil. However, today the wintergreen oil that you buy has been commercially synthesized. The leaf tea is used to soothe colds and headaches, stomach aches, fever, kidney ailments. You can make an infusion and use that to treat, to rub on muscles or soak yourself for rheumatism and lumbago. The chemical methylsalicylate is anti-inflammatory. There have been studies that show that small amounts have delayed the onset of tumors. The way I use it, I take a dropper full of the wintergreen tincture and hold it under my tongue. And it works amazingly well for headaches and body aches. It is an analgesic. That means that it reduces pain. It actually works on the pain sensors in the brain. It is anti-inflammatory, and anti-inflammatories are herbs that help the body, combat inflammation. It is anti-neoplastic, meaning that it does slow the growth of tumors. It's anti-rheumatic. Then these are herbs that help the symptoms of arthritis. Rheumatism is an old term for what we now refer to as arthritis. It is a febrifuge, meaning that it helps reduce fever. It is also a stomachic. This means that it tones and stimulates the actions of the stomach. There are no toxic lookalikes for Gaultheria procumbens. Gaultheria procumbens should not be used when you're taking aspirin. As always, you should check with your healthcare provider before taking any herbal supplement. Gaultheria procumbens will always hold a special place in my heart. Not only was it the first wild plant I learned about, it's also an excellent field pain reliever. I hope you get out into the natural world and harvest some for yourself. I hope you've enjoyed this course. If you've found it enjoyable and informative, please try one of our other online courses. You might also be interested in one of our guided plant walks. You can find all of our training opportunities on our website. It would be greatly appreciated if you take a moment and email your feedback on this video to videos@livingafield.com. Thank you for watching this presentation, and you have a wonderful day.